Hello, and welcome to Shades of Pleasure, a podcast celebrating pleasure, sexuality, and the vibrant, inclusive spectrum of love, gender, and relationships. I'm your host, Mo, and with me are my co-hosts, Melissa, Wayne, and Kelly. And together we hope to dismantle tropes that no longer suit us and change the narrative towards more authentic living.
So this is something I'd like to add to the list, whether we talk about it today or not. But I've got a couple who have a young teenage kid, and they want to introduce it and come out to the kid. And there's a lot of anxiety around that, and just sort of the front loading that we're doing. And I'd love to hear your thoughts on it at some point.
Ooh, I think coming out to kids is a great topic, or just coming out in general to community, to friends. Because I think that some people are super open about it, and some people are like, don't want anyone to know.
Yeah, and there are little things that specifically make it complicated for this couple, but I do think that just there's a generalization of that we could cover. I mean, but I don't know, Melissa, I didn't want to steamroll you. You were just looking at the list. Is there something different coming up for you?
That is a good topic. I did add it all the way at the bottom. I was just going to say that I saw there was something about, I can't find it anymore, but about the holidays. And since we're approaching the holidays, I was like, oh, maybe we talk about the holiday stuff. I can't remember what exactly it had. I'm trying to look for it, guys. Sorry. It's like,
Well, I kind of think that coming up for the holidays goes hand in hand with this, because I would imagine some people are going to be with families that don't know, or that they're trying to figure out how to navigate. But I don't know. I'm open to whatever. Okay.
Well, yeah, maybe it'll all come together.
What specifically comes to mind for you when you think about, okay, holidays coming up?
Joe has my phone, by the way. That's telling Wayne. Sidebar. It says here, navigating the holidays, families, and plus ones. Oh yeah, so that's perfect. It's everything that we were just talking about. The holidays, families in generals, and plus ones or more.
Yeah, what was the third thing you said? Family, holidays, and what?
Plus ones.
Oh, plus ones. Oh yeah, okay. There you go.
And I see a little overlap as well between coming out with kids and holidays and plus one, just because of what me and Melissa are about to embark on soon.
Yeah, why don't you tell them? Why don't you tell everybody what we're about to embark on?
Share the delightful news.
Nisha was supposed to.
Sorry, I didn't mean to bully you.
No, I'm okay. No, you're not bullying me. So Nisha was supposed to go home for the holidays, but she's not going because she can't fly due to the pregnancy. So she's going to be here for the holidays. And this year, Melissa wants to go to her family house. So and her mom has met Nisha, so her family. So we would be introducing Nisha to the family for the first time, and it will be during the holidays. So,
yeah.
So for all of our listeners, Nisha is Wayne's girlfriend.
Yes. Yeah.
And Melissa is Wayne's wife. For those of you who are just joining us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's it like for you two?
Yeah. What's coming up?
I feel a little nervous about it, but also, as much as I feel nervous, I'm like, feel ready. I'm kind of just like, fuck it. At this point, like what?
Yeah. What do you think you're nervous about?
Just the newness of it all, the difference. I mean, what am I nervous about? I think if I could like send out a newsletter and everybody could just know about it ahead of time, and I don't really have to deal with the questions or the all of that stuff, you know, then I think I would be fine. It's just I think I just not looking forward to. I just want to go and enjoy. You know, all of us show up and we all just have a good time and we enjoy each other and it's all good. You know, it's all gravy. So.
And not have to explain.
Yeah,
everyone has questions, I'm sure.
Yeah, which I'm fine with. I guess I just don't want to have to do it all at once right there, you know? And that's just, I don't even think that'll happen, actually.
Yeah.
But I know that the energy, you know, I know that it's going to be there, even though nobody will really speak on it. I don't think anybody will really speak on it or ask any questions, or at least nothing in depth. You know, they might, if anything, they might like make comments or kind of ask on the side something, but nothing in depth. And so I don't know. I think maybe that's it for me. Just that initial, just the initial.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's just kind of the natural nervousness of something new. And something.
It sounds like people already kind of know, but now they're going to actually see it.
Exactly.
In the flesh, live, you know.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's no longer hearsay or, oh yeah, Melissa and Wayne, and, you know, they're doing this thing. Now it's like, oh, they're, you know, it's here. It's live.
Yes, that part. And I think it was we already were all experiencing, well, I don't want to speak for us all, but I think it's safe to say that we were already kind of experiencing nervousness just around, or maybe not all of us, but yeah, just around, you know, our dynamic.
Yeah.
But now that, you know, there's a baby on the way, that's just another, you know, another dynamic.
A whole layer. Yeah. A whole nother layer.
Get to see of us. And so, but I'm not worried about anything bad or negative happening. Like my family is pretty loving, pretty supportive. If anything, once they get comfortable, they may like, you know, jokingly, playfully talk shit, have some, you know, something funny to say or whatever. But I know that they're going to be very supportive and loving. But speaking of kids too, it's like I thought about this, that kind of the overthinking part of me was like, oh, this is interesting. Like I wonder, this is not specific to my family per se, but just it made me think about it of like, it's one thing to, you know, introduce or share your life with like other adults, you know, and then to me personally, there's like a complex layer of children being there as well too, and like that opening up a can of worms for, you know, for the adults and the parents to have to talk about and to have to like, you know,
for sure.
It's interesting. That's just, you know, it's interesting. Like,
yeah, I have a question. Well, and first of all, congratulations. A new baby's can be very exciting, but will you set the stage for folks just to know it's not that the people that you're going to go be with know absolutely nothing and you're just all of a sudden showing up with this other woman who happens to be, that they like kind of set the stage for they do know a lot about you from my understanding, and when that happened and how that happened. Like, what was your coming out process with your family members?
They know something. Yeah. I think one year when I started working at Last and kind of doing stuff through shades of non-monogamy, Wayne and I kind of decided like, yeah, we're just going to go ahead and just put it out there, you know, that this is, I mean, I think it was kind of indirect though, Wayne. I don't think we didn't say like, hey, we're non-monogamous. We kind of like, this is the work that I'm doing. It was implied, I think.
No, we said that we were non-monogamous.
Yeah, I remember actually walking down the street from the Last office and having a drink with you one night after work, and you're like, "We're going to tell our family."
Okay, yeah, maybe. So you're right. Maybe I said something in there like, "Yeah, from our experience and stuff like that."
Exactly.
So that was like a Facebook post that went around. Plus, you know, once I started like growing on Instagram. Instagram loves to connect people and put all your business out there. That's why we put that post up. So naturally, family just started joining, and so kind of through that, they would, I don't know, just learn about things. And we've done so many interviews and whatnot. Some people in my family have been like, oh, I listened to it. Oh my gosh, wow. And then some people have never said anything. And so it's kind of like that. And then some people I've had direct conversation with, and some I haven't. So, yeah. And they kind of know, but don't. Like, they know that I don't really know how they understand it. They're like, I think in their mind, they're like, they have sex with other people. And then I remember when I told my grandma, I was like, it was such an interesting conversation, because I talked to her directly one time, and she seemed like totally cool when it was all about sex. And at the moment that I said Wayne had a girlfriend, her face kind of like got a little surprised, like, wait, what? Mm-hmm. And I think that seemed different for her, relationships. But I think maybe it just stemmed from like her being concerned. And once I told her, I was like, I'm fine with it. It's, I know it all. It's all consensual in more simple words. She was just like, okay, I mean, as long as you're happy, and I just want to make sure you're okay and all that good stuff. So it's.
Mm-hmm. And like kind of piggybacking on what we were talking about earlier, when did you guys come out to your kids? How did you share it with your kids that you were non-monogamous? Was it something that they just saw was happening around them, and so they got used to it? Or did you actually like sit down with them and tell them at some point?
I feel like I've been talking a lot, Wayne, so I'm going to pass the mic to you.
So me and our relationship is like all relationships, is ebbs and flows, right? Sometimes Melissa feels like she wants to push things. Sometimes I feel like I want to push things. So it just depends, what the subject matter is, what the topic is, and how comfortable we are, or what is it that, again, what is the motivating factor in that moment to push us to whatever it is that we're trying to or wanting in the relationship or from the relationship. So, and with that said, I think that, again, I feel like we've said this a couple of times, I feel like we have a privilege that everybody may not have, that we have a supportive family around us. When we did put it out there, we just got questions. I thought Melissa's family responded to her in a great way. I thought that her aunts would come to her and have conversations with her because now and all the things, and cousins. So I thought that was great. Yeah. At the same time, I do believe that it was like, oh, okay, cool. They maybe spend time with others, but it's not. But it's nothing that's going to create a rift between them, or they're not going to break up because they're involving other people. And so I think that now having somebody in front of us or with us changes the dynamic. I mean, changes their perception for sure. But as far as the kids go, I think that at the time, it was that me and Melissa, the kids had kind of started to get to an age to where if people are around, Melissa would start to feel like, hey, is this appropriate in front of the kids because of their age, and kid appropriate, like, just maybe showing affection, maybe a hug or maybe sitting too close or whatever, any of those type of things that could be perceived as romantic, for somebody. And so I think that we kind of just like, we decided to have a conversation with the kids, because I think I'm the one who was like, hey, I think our kids are mature enough that we can just talk to them and tell them and let them know, and kind of like, and Melissa was kind of feeling more hesitant around this subject matter, and there's other things that she's been way more bolder about than me. And so, but just so happened this time, I was like, hey, I think we can talk to them about some things. And at the same time, our kids went to a school to where they saw a lot of different dynamics in relationships. They saw same-sex marriages and relationships and all those type of things. So they had already been introduced to different types of dynamics. So I just think that made it easier for us. So when we had a conversation, they were like, oh, okay, yeah, we're good with that. We're cool. Like, yeah, they didn't have there was no issues. There was no pushback. There was no, oh no, is everything all right? They were like, oh, okay, cool. Like, that's on y'all. That's what y'all want. Like we're totally fine with it, And as we've shifted relationships, we always go to them and we kind of say, hey, so your dad has a girlfriend, or hey, and then I remember so funny. The oldest was like Maxwell. He was like, "Hey mom, so when you gonna get a boyfriend?" And I was like, "Oh, it's just so funny you guys say that. Your mom is hanging out with somebody." And it's like, "Oh, okay, cool." Like, yeah, so it's been pretty cool for us in that regard.
That's cool. Yeah, your kids seem to be very cool with it, but I think that generation and kids in general, like if it makes sense, they're like usually cool with it. Like I think kids have this like very like logical thing about them, very like intuitive nature, where it's like, okay, that makes sense, right? Versus adults are like so conditioned. By the time we get to be adults, we've been so browbeaten with the rules and societal expectations. I think that we become like very rigid about these types of things, but kids are still like these open, intuitive little sponges.
And I would say if I had any concern or any thought around going to hang out with Melissa's family, I don't mind questions either. Like I think that, like for me telling my family, I can handle it all. Like there's no worry in me. Like I'm cool with it. I don't think, and I know that no one would ever say anything to Melissa because I would kind of like deal with a lot of that before we would even get to Melissa in that way. I think my concern around Melissa's family, the only thing that come up for me was like maybe somebody have an opinion, because they don't know, because maybe they haven't asked the right questions, or they haven't they're not really curious because they've already come to a conclusion for themselves around it. And so that is the only thing that kind of maybe is in the back of my head. It's like, oh, I wonder what the opinion is going to be of me, or because it's not my family, it's Melissa's family. It's easy for to feel safe with your own family, but somebody else's family, you start to maybe feel like, oh, I wonder what they think of me. So that's the only thing that comes up for me. And me and Melissa have had this conversation before.
I wonder what they're going to think of you.
Yeah, like am I influencing Melissa, or am I?
Oh, is there manipulation or intimidation happening? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure. Like I think a lot of people assume that there's intimidation and manipulation happening, but I just want to remind everyone, our listeners especially, like the manipulation and intimidation is happening in society when you turn on the TV and every relationship is monogamous, right? Every relationship is heterosexual. Like that in and of itself is a form of, it's brainwashing and conditioning, but it can also be a form of manipulation. Like just because we're non-monogamous doesn't mean we're doing anything that the monogamous community hasn't been doing forever. So I just like to point that out, that like, yeah, manipulation, who's manipulating who? Is the monogamous person, because the monogamous person has the team behind them, the team of society behind them to say like, this is better, this is right, this is safer. So a non-monogamous person can manipulate, like we were talking our last episode around poly under duress. It can happen, but I always like to flip the script and remind everyone that it happens both ways.
And
so
to your point, Mo, like I think so there's that, and like it's funny because I think that one thing that came to my mind too was like, okay, I worry that maybe they're going to, I don't know, and again, not because I feel like, oh, my family's going to do this, but this is just my brain, doing a worry thing. But like worrying that, okay, maybe they're going to feel, like Judge Nisha, or feel like, oh, who is this woman and who does she think she is, and how does and stuff like that, which is funny because, again, speaking to that manipulation thing or whatever, it's like, it's not like there hasn't been infidelity in my family, or a history of things like that. Mm-hmm. But somehow, even though, nobody condones that. And also, they would have thoughts and questions and opinions and judgments about that. I think there's, interest. No, sorry, one second.
I think what Melissa was trying to say was,
I was going to say that, ironically, that they can kind of they can make sense of that a little bit easier or somehow than something being consensual or or somebody saying like, yes, I support this, or you know what I'm saying, and this is happening now. Or
isn't that funny?
What?
Yeah.
No way.
I think, not to get too derailed, we do live in a culture where consent is also gray, right? Like people are saying yes when they don't mean yes, right? So I digress a little bit.
But so that's the other thing too, is like there's nuance, right, in all relationships, even monogamous relationships, but I think that in non-monogamous relationships they're spotlighted even more, so that nuance is spotlighted even more so, or there's not a lot of space for nuance. It's either like like you said, it's consensual, or it's completely consensual and like enthusiastic, or it's not consensual and it's like I don't know. Does that
No,
make sense?
100%, 100%. And there is a lot of gray area. I think a lot of people do consent to a variety of things in relationships under duress, right? And a lot of us consent to non-monogamy, and that can also be like not necessarily under duress, something that we want, but also very hard, right? So it's nuanced. And then, then there's the partners too, like someone, I don't want to talk about Nisha, but like, I'll just kind of use Nisha as an example, like coming in to a already established relationship, and having a relationship with Wayne, and Wayne's married, and there's so many levels of, yes, she's agreeing to this, but it's probably also very difficult for that person as well. That's
that person and her family, and like, what kind of cult are you in, and you're in LA, and like, are you okay? Like,
are you okay? Are you getting manipulated by this couple to be?
Like,
yeah,
are you
twice,
sure
for sure.
This is what you really want anyway.
Yeah, I think it's hard for people to even imagine that someone would consent to something like that. And, it goes back to the thing that we often talk about, knowing your reason for getting into non-monogamy. And like, I can speak for Wayne because he talks about it all the time around the village, right? Mm-hmm. The village is really at the core for Wayne. And I think for a lot of us, we have similar sort of an ideal around like, authenticity. My partner is just, it's got to be authentic. My life needs to be authentic, like we're always, I think everyone's got to have a reason. And sometimes those reasons are idealistic. But if we keep coming back to that, we just strive to do our best,
Something just came up for me when you were talking, Mo, and it's related. So when it makes me think about like, oh shoot, what was it? It was oh my gosh. I'm so sorry. It was around not authenticity. Yeah, it was authenticity. Yes. So for me, like I realized, like when we talk about how when people can't, authenticity, right? Even me, like in being myself and being out here and speaking on platforms and everything, I still feel the fear of being judged within, like for instance, Melissa's family. Like I feel the fear of being viewed a certain way, and so I can understand. Like again, speaking to privilege, like I definitely understand. I can people about them. Can y'all hear me?
You're back, yeah.
Oh yeah, I can definitely understand how people can have fear around coming out or telling somebody, because it's the fear of the repercussions behind it. Like, am I gonna be alienated from the family or ostracized? Am I going to be, people going to, treat me differently or possibly even be mean to me, and not really, so all those fears are real. They exist. And so, and I think that it comes back to what is it, would I rather be myself and either be accepted for me fully or recognize that maybe this isn't for me, the space, and I need to go find me a new space, or would I rather have to pretend within a space? And that feels really hard. It feels like, because what is the happiness in that? To show up in a place that I cannot be myself, I have to monitor my words, monitor my behavior, and all these things because I'm worried about offending people, because it's just a lot of energy waste. And I think that, even with kids, with our kids, right, to the fact that I have to try to, I think that I'm always going to say this, and I'm a huge believer of this. Kids are a lot smarter than what people give them. Kids know things, they're aware, even if they don't know what exactly it is, they have an idea. And so I think that trying to hide it from them and not being forthcoming and honest with them could build some resentment with them. And as if, you tell me not to be, you tell me to be honest and not lie, but yet still you've lied to me for all these years around this thing. And I don't want to create that relationship with my kids. I always want to be able to be comfortable being honest, and I want them to be able to come to me and speak to me and be honest as well. So all of those things came up for me when you were talking, so yeah.
Yeah, thanks for sharing. And coming out as a big topic that I used to talk about on my YouTube channel when I was doing that. And I think it's important to acknowledge that coming out is traumatic for it doesn't matter if you're coming out as queer, as a trans person, as a non-monogamous person, as a sex worker, just coming out and letting somebody know that you are this non-normative thing or practicing something alternative or whatever. It is extremely scary. Telling kids, I think, is the easy part, because kids are so much more accepting. It's their families, it's their friends' families that we need to be worried about, like their friends' parents. It's our extended families, our partners' families. It's not the kids. It's really the conditioned, judgmental adults that can actually do a lot of harm. That is, very scary for so many people to come out, and finding community is, it's why people have chosen families. Because so many people have been ostracized from their families after coming out.
Yeah. So when you say that, so our youngest son, the 10-year-old, it's kind of like, it kind of came up around hey, so what do I tell my friends about Nisha because they asked, so now you, right, because now he has to, if whatever he tells them, they're going to go home and tell whoever, because if their parents or whoever, guardians asking questions, hey, who is this person or whatever. So yeah, what happens now? What does that look like? And so that's just another whole thing that you just brought up. But so yeah.
Yeah.
I'll add to, you brought up community. That's, I think, one thing that was helpful or advantage for speaking to the kids about us is that, one, I think from a very young age, we we foresaw that this would potentially be a thing. And so, we included in our conversations about different people and different relationships that also, people can have more than one, romantic relationship or things like that. So people can love more than one person at the same time. So it was from a young age, we kind of talked that way. So it wasn't super shocking. We didn't have to come out about that first and then about us, So I think the other thing was that we always had a lot of people over, a lot of friends over. It was very community based, not so much anymore, but when the kids were younger. And so there was always people around and friends and, affection shown and things like that. And so there just was this vibe already kind of happening. And I think for me personally, just because of my own probably shame and things like that, that because I knew who this person was or what they were, you know what I mean? In my mind, I'm like, oh my gosh, this might be inappropriate. Not like we were doing anything inappropriate, but just like, oh no. but really, if it was super platonic, or if it was platonic, then yeah, it wouldn't have been a big deal, so. But anyway, just I wanted to say that part about the community part. I think that was an advantage that we had too.
You made me think about something, Melissa. So our oldest son, the 19-year-old, we had a baby shower, and we were going to have 2 different baby showers because just of the fact of our 2 different friend groups, and it felt really difficult to try to create this 2 different things. And a couple of friends of ours that found out about it, they kind of felt offended because and it just became so. I was like, you know what? Yeah, why not just have just one and have everybody together? Because at first I think that me and Melissa were well, we don't know how people may act or may be, and it's again us trying to think for everybody else, and just trying to control the narrative and control all the parts when we really can't. And all we can do is just kind of again, just try to be ourselves as best as we can around the people that we have around us, and either people accept us or they're not. And so we do it, and we did the baby shower with everybody, with all the different groups of people, and it actually turned out well. Nobody felt offended. Nobody felt, but yeah, it was a good turnout. It was like, wow, it gave me so much anxiety to beforehand, but then when it happened, it was like, oh my God, it was so simple. Yeah.
That's awesome. I'm glad you decided to do that, because it sounds like that's just so much easier on you and for everyone involved, and you get to be yourself in a situation like that. You get to, it's, leaning into the authenticity, not trying to fix the thing.
Yeah, just give people 2 choices. They can either like it or they can love it. And outside of that, you care about it.
Or not come at all, right? Yeah. Yeah, no. Thank you, Wayne and Melissa, for being so vulnerable and sharing what's currently going on for you all, because I know that can be loaded.
Yeah. Yeah, we talk about that sometimes. We go on these platforms and we speak and we talk about, but there's things that we feel like, but because we're going through it, it's not, maybe we don't talk about it sometimes because we're going through it.
Yeah.
But yeah. So to talk about things as it's happening in real time, I don't feel, again, I think before I would feel judged or all the things by listeners, but I'm okay. This is me. This is who I am. I'm out here, working through things like everybody else. And I just may have more experience than than a lot of other people, which give me some slight, if you want to give it an advantage, then okay, cool. But yeah, I have a lot of lived experience at this point, so I've figured out some ways to work around things and not have to deal with things or go through things over again, because I figured out better ways of dealing with things.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's always new things coming.
This is new. That's what I'm talking about it right now. This is new. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, Kelly. So when you were talking about so your clients about kids, what is the concern? I'm wondering.
That what if she's, hurt by it, or I think one of them already feels a little bit more disconnected than the other, and is the kid going to sort of blame one or the other, or just the fears about the confusion and the feelings that come up with it. And 13 that's an age where kids really have an opinion, and they have a lot of hormones, and just sort of the potential fallout that may, so I think there's just a lot of fear around it. Just the fear of the unknown, and wanting to, present it in the softest way possible, and allow for the kid to have the feelings. And just scared, because nobody really knows. Nobody in the family really knows, except our sisters. Yeah. That it's not out in the community, out in the family kind of situation. And I think they they have a no lying policy in their house, and now it's starting to feel like they're lying. And so the kind of what you were talking about earlier, Wayne. And so, I think there's gonna be fear around that of like, wait, hold on, like it's maybe fear of, wait, is there like a double life happening here? And how have I been in the dark for so long? Fear around that. I don't think it's irrational. I don't think their fear is irrational.
No, not at all. Yeah, not at all.
Yeah. I have we have a few more minutes, and I had a thought about what we've been talking about around the holidays. And it popped up because things happen around the holidays. Oh, so nice to see you, Kelly. Oh, you're in Andrea's kitchen. I recognize that painting. Anyway, when so this happened to a friend of mine who they're non-monogamous, and the guy started dating a new woman and brought her to New Year's Eve, and he was there with his new partner, but his other partner was also there, and the other partner was there, I think, performing, like had a thing. It was an event they were hosting, and so he brought his new date, and at midnight he kissed his new date. As like, I don't know, like, I guess, I'd just love to chat about that, because like, these are things that you can't foresee everything, right? Like, for them to have the conversation and be like, I'm bringing my new date to this thing on New Year's Eve, and clock strikes 12, everybody kisses everybody, like, how, as a couple, or as, how are we going to navigate that? Like, some of these things you just can't front load, because you just can't think of every single freaking, and like, it was really, really hard for the other partner to see them kissing at midnight. And I think, like, that would be really hard. But you can't always talk about those things. And so it wasn't really like, nobody did anything wrong. Right.
Yeah. It's almost like the betrayal like the kid can feel betrayed by the family or the family system or one of the parents. Yeah. The one feel like they need to protect one over the other.
Yeah.
Those sort of things. But I think that's a good way to put it, because that's what, we talk to a lot of our clients about that. Like, we can't front load everything. So really having a deep understanding of where people are coming from, how they feel about it, so that as your brain has to make sense of all these things, even though you maybe didn't talk about that exact scenario, you have an understanding, so your brain you can wrap your head around it. I mean, it's a lot, this will be, the kid has only known the world in one way. The kid has only known the parents in one way. And so this is going to be completely new. The world's different.
Yeah.
Family's different.
How old's the kid? Did you say already? Did I miss it?
13.
The teen.
I can say through experience, through me and Melissa having to sit down with the kids, and also we ran into a scenario where I went out with Nisha to a friend's event, and they were so upset because they couldn't believe that I showed up with somebody and what's going on with me and Melissa. And what I've learned, that if me and Melissa show up in a unified front and we sit down and we talk to people and we explain to them, it's taken completely different if it's just from me. So, because when Melissa came to the event and we both talked to them and explained to them, they were like, oh, okay. So, because it didn't seem like, and then Melissa didn't seem frazzled or like kind of nervous or like unsure. And so even when we talked to the boys, we both, again, showed up and kind of had a conversation with them, and we opened it for questions. They can ask anything they want. Like, we're totally fine. Like, please ask all the things you want to ask. Like, we're here to have this conversation. This is your opportunity to try. If you don't have an understanding, this is your opportunity to get an understanding, a level of understanding. And so that's what I've felt has worked for, you can correct me if I'm wrong, Melissa. Each time that we've kind of come up to something, if we show up as a unified front and we kind of face it together, it turns out to be pretty cool, because it's like, hey, look, it's not one person doing something to the other. It's not one person getting over. It's like we made a decision. We've chosen to do this, and we're confident in the decision, as confident as we can be in the decision that we're making for ourselves.
Yeah. It's such a great topic. I mean, we could probably do an entire episode on that, on just the idea that like when you get to know a couple, even if you know that they're non-monogamous, when one partner brings another partner into your party, to a party you've invited them to, or some sort of event, and they're not with the couple that you are initially knew, it's kind of like, oh, did you guys break up? Like we immediately go to that, even though it's like, no, I know I would do that too. If Wayne came to something with Nisha and Melissa wasn't there, I'd be like, what? Where's Melissa? You know what I mean? That kind of thing, even though like, how long have I known you guys? And, thing. I feel, did that happen?
Yes, that happened. That happened when I went. Well, you talking about with you or with somebody else?
I was thinking with me, but I think when I met Nisha, I met her with Melissa.
Me and Melissa.
No,
Yeah.
Yeah, I was.
I mean, and I think of the two of us, I might have a little bit more. Well, it doesn't matter who has more or not, but I'll speak for myself. Like I do have, some empathy, and I think just I don't know, some passion, compassion, whatever, patience for other people's reactions, because I don't think that they're always coming from this malicious place or this, super opinionated place that they just got to insert their. No, I just think it's just, sometimes it's just different. It's just unusual. It's different from the norm, not only from societal norm, but just like the norm that they're used to from us or of us. And so,
yeah, I think sometimes it comes from a protective place. Like, oh wait, do you need extra support? Do I need to protect you as the partner?
Yeah.
Blink twice, Melissa, if you're okay.
Blink twice. Are you being trafficked, Melissa?
Right. Yeah.
There's numbers for that.
And there are hand signals too. You know the hand signals?
I didn't know that. Yeah, that's. Yeah.
You're in an airport or in a mall or something, and somebody's doing this behind their back, like has their hand covered. That's a signal for being trafficked.
Oh wow!
To just know that. Thank you. I just want to double on what Mo said. Thank you all for this. You sharing your experience and us being able to sort of like look at the anatomy of it through your experience, I think was helpful instead of talking about it in abstract form.
Yeah. We're talking about our clients all the time, which we do when, we all clearly have life experiences we can be sharing. So.
Yeah. So maybe next time when we hop on here, we may have a like, hey, so how did it go, guys? Well,
let us learn through one of your speed bumps.
Yeah.
Because the holidays are coming up, right? So Thanksgiving is I think we have one more episode before Thanksgiving, or do we?
Okay.
Yeah, we do.
So yeah, I know we're going for Thanksgiving. If I'm correct, we're going to her family's house for Thanksgiving. Yeah. And so I asked Melissa, I said, hey, so it's a good time? She's like, hey, look, show up now. It's good because it'll be crazy to show up with the baby. Like, hey.
Better now than later, yeah. Yeah. And the kids all know, obviously, about the baby. Yeah. Everyone's cool.
Yeah, Nisha's, she's not staying with us right now, but she just spent the weekend at the house while Melissa wasn't there. We were with the kids, so they clearly see her stomach, and Zoe talks, the youngest talks about how she's gonna be a big sister, and she's gonna have a little brother, and how the baby's in Nisha's stomach. So so it's every my oldest son, when he calls from college, he always asks how she's doing, and when is the just checking in on her. So yeah. It's definitely cared for. We're having a cared for, experience for sure. Yeah.
Beautiful. All right, everyone. Well, I guess we're out of time. It looks like everyone's got places to go, people to meet, sessions, whatnot. So thanks again for sharing your stories.
No, you're welcome. I know Melissa has a lot going on. That's why she's muted right now. And Zoe is probably doing a lot.
Let's see your face real quick. Zoe, come say hi.
Zoe, your name rhymes with Mo.
Zoe said no.
Said no.
All right, bye y'all.
All right, bye everyone. See you later. Thank you for listening. Shades of Pleasure podcast is currently unsponsored and is brought to you by Los Angeles Sex Therapy and Last Collective in partnership with Shades Therapy and Shades of Nonmonogamy. To support our endeavor so we can continue to bring this pleasurable content, please visit our Substack at shadesofpleasure.substack.com. Thank you for listening, and until next time.